Today we're going to be taking a look at the app catalog. So let's take a look at our cluster first to see what we're running. So I've got demo app catalog, click here, and if I look at the cluster details, I can see that I've got Metal LB installed, which is the big thing that we're looking at for when we deploy this app because we're going to use a load balancer. So let's go to the app catalog. Right now there's nothing there, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a repository. The first thing we're going to add is our certified apps repository, which you can find in our documentation. So let's copy this. Let's name it and save. And then we've got the app repository added, which will give us access to a couple of applications. So Cert Manager, FluentBit, Nginx ingress with and without load balancers. But what we're going to do is go ahead and install the Bitnami one so that we can deploy Nginx, just to show a basic demo. All right, so let's add another repository. And we'll call it Bitnami. Put in the URL. And we're just going to deploy a basic Nginx setup, and then I'll show you where you can find it in the UI, and I'll show how you can interact with Helm. All right, looks like that finished out. So now let's take a look at our app catalog. Now what we want is Nginx. So we're not installing Ingress or Ingress controller, we're just installing a basic Nginx deployment. So hit deploy, we'll name it Nginx. We'll put it on our demo app catalog cluster, put it in the default namespace, and then we'll leave everything default, even the version, and we'll deploy. All right, so it finished out. Let's go ahead and look at our deployed apps. We'll change the namespace to default once it loads. Change the namespace to default, and there's our application. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at it in our workloads. So under deployments, we'll look at the default namespace. And there it is. And then we can look for services. And we can look under the default namespace. Refresh. And there it is. We look under pods. We can see the pods that are deployed for it too. And there it is. Now, if we go to the command line, we can do helm list. And Helm will show us the actual deployment that we've created. Helm get all Nginx. So it'll actually give us a little bit of information about it, like how we can pull the load balancer IP address for it. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then it's going to be using one of our Metal LB IP addresses. So there we go. Let's go ahead and hit the browser. And there it is. There's the splash page. Now, going back over here, what we can do is go back to our apps. And once we're done, if we want to, we can remove it through the UI. You can also interact with it through Helm. All right, so let's use the default namespace. Let's go ahead and find it over here, delete. And then once it has finished deleting, it should go away from our Helm list. There, it's gone. And the UI will update in a moment, and it's gone. And then we can go back and see our app catalog, and there's other applications that we can run. So you got the certified apps from us, you've got the Bitnami apps, you can add in other Helm repositories to deploy other types of applications and stuff too, like say if you've got an internal one. And all you'll need is a repository name and a URL, and then you can specify public or private.